Wait. I gotta get a damn shirt on. Hey, welcome back. I'm running a little late this week, so let's just talk off the cuff. What are people arguing about this week?
Do you have the time to listen to me grind? Take down the film watchers and nerds all at once.
Alright, the trades, they happened between the last time we talked, right? And now, talked about them on Dynasty Grind and Discord and Patreon and stuff like that. But let's do a quick rundown of the trades. Toney going to the Chiefs. That's one that's got a lot of people excited, and I can really see the upside. Here's what you need to know from a fake nerd who run through a lot of statistics on a week-by-week basis. His college profile was ass. Getting a lot of slack for saying stuff like that about college profiles this week. But it was. It was not very good. But plenty of players, a few players go on to do well in the NFL after not doing much in college, to say frankly. It wasn't good. And we kind of saw a lot of that, the reasoning for it in his first year. Like, he didn't get on the field much. When he did, he was spectacular with the ball. I can just accept. And also, I've seen it. And yeah, I understand why he gets the accolades he does. He's physically gifted. I don't know what the Giants were thinking that they could scheme up, because he needs to be schemed. But where we're at right now is a terrible college profile, but his skill set elevates to the NFL. That's non-narrative, those are just the things that we know. What we also know, we haven't seen a lot of players, or any players, maybe with that level of gifts, let's just even say that, but that teams have been creative enough to get involved enough or develop enough that they can have a large, somewhat consistent, this year talking about the consistency of wide receiver is somewhat of a crapshoot, that is relevant for fantasy. And all of this is an aside from whether he can help the Chiefs. But they have limited use on a week-by-week basis in a fantasy format. This says nothing about how good they are or what they can do or how much they're helpful to the teams. I wouldn't know. All of that aside, we have not enough information to make, in my opinion, concrete decisions about whether he can, he will, he would, or he could. Based on what we've seen in the NFL. In his rookie season, he just about passed the threshold for having ran enough routes that people could get excited about his yards per route run. And we saw that didn't develop into more targets with the Giants. Now, there's a lot of injury concerns there too. I'm not drawing a conclusion. I'm trying to point out that we really haven't seen enough sample size wise. Now, it's fine to say, well, watch the tape, bro, and you can do that. If you're good at that, if that's your process, you can know those things. I don't. All I'm telling you is there's a limited amount of information we have on an NFL level. It really doesn't pass the threshold, in my opinion, to have a very concrete opinion on what will happen now that he's on the Chiefs, and especially considering the uniqueness of the player. However, if you're going to draw comps, I could understand why Tyreek Hill could have very strong comparisons to him, because he is, again, a somewhat uniquely gifted physical player that didn't have high draft capital, but a team did take on, in fact, this very team, in order to develop. Because he really didn't play that much in college, and that's not to say he didn't know more about playing wide receiver than 90% of the population, but he knew less and had done it less than 90% of the prospects who go to the NFL, even with his level of draft capital. But they did. So I think him going to the Chiefs is overall positive. I, being just a dynasty nerd, would set a median of a second round pick. And if you want to go for upside, there is a lot of upside on Toney on the Chiefs. He just has to do it 1 week, right? And see that physical gift be worked into that offense. And it's not necessarily something we have to see right now or right next week. There will be some expectation moving forward. I was excited about Justin Ross. Remember him? But a dynasty fake nerd is always going to be pessimistic when it comes to anything over a second round pick. What were the other trades? Nyheim Hines going to the Bills. To me, yeah, this is another nail in the James Cook's coffin. Was a low value trade for the Bills and makes sense for them, but at the same time, this is probably the most draft capital anyone's ever spent on Nyheim Hines. As for Zach Moss going to Indianapolis, I mean, this week it looks like Deion Jackson is gonna get the start, and a lot of people are excited about him, and I have high hopes myself. He's like a top 16 projected running back, but it's JT's backfield, trying to manage a dynasty roster, so young running backs currently disappointing or injured are a hot topic right now and are somewhere I'm looking to get good trades on. Speaking of which, let's segue over to something, because I'm bored of the trades, frankly. One more. Claypool going to Pittsburgh makes me like every other wide receiver on both teams a little bit more. That's the last trade that I'm talking about. Speaking of a young running back, there's a weird discordance, I don't know what to call it, on Dameon Pierce. I have taken, and if not clear, I was definitely too low. I moved him up to running back 7 during the preseason, but I didn't like his college profile. I still think his college profile sucks. So just taking the L on Dameon Pierce. But what to do right now is the question. Been wrong, don't want to be wrong again, what to do? For a start, he's definitely was worth that first round pick we were making fun of people paying in the offseason, I think, especially if that team's winning right now, because running back is about points. Here's the thing, I don't think he's going to be worth more than that by next August, because he's got lower draft capital. We've just seen a whole bunch of undrafted and lower draft capital running backs get destroyed by other running backs coming in, and injuries and trades and various other things, from James Robinson, or Antonio Gibson struggling this year too. Now, if you don't get too myopic and think back, we do have successful lower drafted running backs in the period before that. So that's definitely not only a death now, but it is a risk of running backs with lower draft capital. And he has a good skill set that Zach still says is fairly limited and is more replaceable. So it's potentially on the cards. And I think once we get to the offseason, that fear will start to creep back, which puts him in this really interesting situation where he's worth a first round pick. If you're competing this year, if you want running back points, I think, that's fair offer, but I don't think many people in your league will be interested in that, because I can trade for Alvin Kamara for a first or less. I can trade for these older running backs who are also putting up 14 points per game or more a week, and I think that draft capital, we always kind of look down on it. Dynasty football, Dynasty is majoritively a nerd place. There's fewer tape grinders than there are data grinders, and we lean towards those things pretty heavily in my experience. So you've got, I'm talking to some of my friends rostering Dameon Pierce who literally can't trade him for more than he was traded for in some leagues at that first round value, because players are like, well, I'd trade for a running back I really like and pay a little bit more, which is fine. But if you're buying a running back, I think you're about points. Now, again, if you want points this year, I think Dameon Pierce actually might be a target, despite having proved nerds and fake nerds like me wrong, because of that drag on his value. Oh god, there's so much else to talk about. I should really make notes. Anyway, those are the hot topics that I've come across on my timeline this week, and some of the work I've been putting in to try and dissect them and find a way to have an opinion on them moving forward. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything I missed. I can make other videos through the week, and I've started to decide I should probably do more than one a week, I guess. And let me know. Anyway, hope you're having a good week. Hope you're killing it. Hope you do need points, because you are going towards the final. And good luck this week. Thanks very much. Bye. Hey, thanks for checking out another video. If you could like, subscribe, comment, that'd all be great. But also check out the rest of the channels and follow my Patreon link to see what I'm up to over there. And the Linktree link, I guess, is going to take you to easy access to my podcast, the articles I'm writing over there at DLF, as well as most of the other things I'm up to. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks very much.